I wanted to talk about the shame behind every addiction. It could be anything. Last couple of days, I've been talking about addiction to sex, basically, to masturbation, porn. And this seemed to resonate with a few people. And it really does resonate with me because this thing has been following my whole life. And it's almost like an itch at the back of your head that always comes when you least expect it. It always hits you where it hurts the most, and it's almost like you can't do anything about it, but you can. Um, and the way to get out of it is to abstain from it. But how do you abstain from it? Is you follow the pain where it starts. Like, for example, even I was watching something yesterday, some skateboarding clips, um, and it really reminded me of the days when I was skateboarding a lot, and I was at my, prime, when I was like feeling very energized and almost able to do anything, on the skateboard that I wanted to. And those days have passed, so every time I watch skateboarding now, I'm like, shit, I can't do that anymore, and it always puts this put this pressure on me. I put this pressure on myself that I have to perform, that I have to perform well, and that makes me feel very, very low. I start to think about ways to exit this pain, because this pain, this shame that you have, that I have, is what makes you relapse, is what makes you go and start drinking again, is what makes you go and start watching porn again, is what makes you smoke weed or take drugs, and or just indulge in any addictive behavior, anything that's harmful to you, to your soul, to your body. And there's a way to stop it. Um, and there's always a way out. Um, I was thinking that there's God, there's higher power that can help you, that is always there, is always present. So a little prayer, um, a little time with yourself, because like sometimes it's so difficult to escape that shame, to escape that pain, that it's almost like you can't run away from it, you can't hide from it, you can't put yourself anywhere, so you can only pray that after some time it will pass. And it does pass, like it always gets me when I'm like going to bed or like relaxing, and I have time to think, and I start thinking about something from the past. And past always gets you depressed, and future always gets you anxious. So being in the middle, in the ground where you are right now, is what's the most important, is to like look around and realize that, wait a minute, I have a place to live, I have clothes to wear, I have food to eat, I have a job to go to, I have studies to go to, I have close relatives, I have friends, I have family, and all of this that I'm saying, I need to take my own advice, because just this morning I was journaling, and I was like starting to feel this like anxiety, this big like pressure that I put on myself. And it doesn't need to be there, because it doesn't help. It's sometimes good to cut yourself some slack and be like, wait a minute, you've been doing well. You've been, going to your studies, you've been going to work, you've been earning money, you've been painting or, doing whatever task that you're doing. So it's okay to congratulate yourself and pat yourself on the back because, even like, let's say, semen retention, it's been like 8 days since I'm doing it. And this morning I woke up, I was like, cool, one more day, one more day sober, one more day retaining, one more day um, just staying away from the dirty stuff, because it will take time to recuperate, recover, to desexualize your brain, to clean your body from toxins, from any substances. Like, I think anything that you put in your body, like food wise, drinking wise, it stays with you. So it's important to take time to reflect and to let the body clean itself out. When you get sick, so you get sick because you've been getting sick for a while, and then it hits the point where it says, right, now you have to stop. Now I have to clean. The body says, I have to get rid of all this shit. And you have to stop. You have to lay in bed and, pay attention to what your body's telling you. Drink teas and, hydrate yourself so the body can clean itself. But it always hits this point. And I think in life you hit this point where when you're young, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna smoke some weed, I'm just gonna I just want to spend some time with my friends, I just this is chill, this is nothing. This is just a little thing that I do, and every once in a while you're like, oh, I'm doing it again. Your subconscious mind, your conscience catches you doing it again, and it's like, hey, you said that this was only once, and now you're doing it again, and now you're doing it again and again and again. And then you realize soon enough that this is such a habit, that this is like the same circle of friends that you always go to. You always smoke weed with them. You don't necessarily want to do it. If you were on your own, you wouldn't probably do it. But because you're with those friends in that cycle, in that circle, you're doing it. Same with like pornography. If you're around friends that say that they can, watch porn and it's normal and you can watch it every day because, everybody does that. So, but do you want to be like everybody, like same with the drugs and alcohol. It's like, well, everyone's doing it. Look, everyone's happy. And it's like, are they really happy? Like, have you asked every single one of them? Are they answering to you genuinely? And are you asking yourself, are you happy doing this activity? Like, it's better to just do nothing than indulge in something that destroys your brain, that makes you sick, that destroys your soul, that kills your spirit. And that's like a continuous cycle. One addiction leads to another addiction, leads to another addiction. I remember, like, when I was using drugs and alcohol, I would then jump from that because that wasn't enough, drugs and alcohol. So I would I would need to go to sleep, for example. So I would watch porn, and then I would feel double shit, wake up in the morning, feel totally terrible, terrible, terrible. And, try to start my day well, try to like heal myself and get myself better. And then by the evening, I would be doing the same thing, because it was a vicious cycle. So if you manage to pull yourself out of these cycles, at least the tiniest bit, if your conscience is telling you that what you're doing is not good, then it means that there's a part of you that knows what is good. And if you know what is good, then you should go for it, you know? Because why are you not going for it? You could be doing 10 times better. Your life could be 10 times better just because not necessarily that you would do something, but just so you wouldn't do something, just so you wouldn't um, indulge in certain activities that make you feel worse. You don't even need to do anything. That's the thing. So that's my thoughts on um, addiction. It could be any addiction, as I said. It could be porn, it could be drugs and alcohol, it could be anything. So make sure you check yourself. Check yourself with your conscience. Check with your conscience whether you're feeling okay doing a certain task or you don't. And if you don't, then you gotta ask yourself why. Because I think it's important to end this life, to continue this life, to go on this path in a way where you don't have to be looking back and thinking whether I did everything right or wrong. You know, it's okay to look back and to check with yourself, but if you're constantly feeling like you're doing something that's against your essence, then after a while that turns into depression and you don't know why, you know? So I think checking with yourself is very important. So, and forgiving yourself for what you've done because you couldn't always be smart. Like you needed some example, even if it was a bad example. You needed some um, like older males or females that you were looking up to, but it's not always healthy to look at certain people because they're not healthy and they don't care about their conscience. So if you care, always look back at yourself. You're never alone. That's the thing. You're never alone. You're all one. So your guts, your essence, your heart knows what is right. And that path is straight and narrow, you know? So don't go too astray from it. Always come back to the center. And may God, higher power, whatever you believe in, help you on this path. And hope it will help me too. Um, so, yeah, this life is not easy. So I'm proud of you, of what you've been doing so far. Keep doing what you're doing, and things will turn out better than you think. You will always win by staying sober, by abstaining from certain things. So you know what those things are, and you know when to say no. You just gotta be brave enough. So I love you guys. Have a great day, morning, evening, nighttime, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, much love, and peace.